Hey, and welcome back to another EUC Learn Along. What do we got today? We got some Intune. Trying to be hip. So in the last couple videos, we did have our lab kit set up with Microsoft, did some bare metal task sequences, and then we kind of got bored with the SCCM and jumped to Elux, that Citrix bot, and messed around with that. Didn't go too crazy with it. But I did reset up my lab and set up Citrix again. No big deal. I'm just playing around with the 2507 early access to see what they got. But I think I'm just going to do Intune and all the things that touch it. Yeah, so we're going to do that. So I went ahead, signed up for the eval, got some licenses, kind of got carried away. Don't need all these, but kind of want to make the best bang for my buck because I think I got 30 days. But you need an Intune license. You'll need the Plan 1 for Intra. I can't remember, but I'll post it in the blog. And then your users will need the 365. So we got the licenses. Close that. What else we got? So I got this device resetting right now. So I set up Graph. I think before we do have an older video. I think it's just called Microsoft Autopilot or Windows Autopilot. I can't remember. And we did the export to CSV. Didn't want to do that anymore. So I did set up Graph. Now we're just using the Git Windows Autopilot info -online. It just makes things a lot easier versus all these manual extra steps. And I'll post how to do a online registration. I still think they call it manual registration, but it skips exporting the file and just makes things easy. All you do is just have to authenticate. What else? I think there was some stuff I set up in here. Most of these settings are defaulted to, this one was defaulted to all. That one was set to no, 50. Global admin, set as a local admin. I'll leave that alone. This one I did turn off. Didn't want my registering user to be an admin, even though my policy I have set will make it an admin. I just wanted to turn that off. And I did enable labs because we'll be testing that as well. So not just Autopilot that we're looking at. Again, we'll be doing all the things that encompass it from start to finish. All right. All right. So what do we got in here? So I went ahead and provisioned some apps. You can tell I've been in here busy. Reader, Adobe is a user app. The rest of these are device scoped. I went ahead and created some groups. Got our, I think in the last video we did a dynamic group. I can't remember. I think it was this one right here, ZTD ID. But I can't remember. But it's already got members in there. Yeah, that one just got imported. But I created an extra one for enterprise devices. And we're doing the physical ID, where the order ID is enterprise. So that is the group tag. So if we look at that and go to devices, Autopilot devices, I'm doing group tags. All right, that's our device name for our intro device. And I have this dynamic group scope to a deployment profile. So again, we kind of already did this, just kind of making the process better. So we're using a dynamic group and we're using group tags. Automatic enrollment, went over the licensing piece. Again, you can get the trial license through here as well. Turn this one to all. No need to scope it to a user. What else? Device. Platform restriction, everything is allowed. Device limit is set to 15. Disabled hello for business for now, but we will look at it. We got our Autopilot V2, which we're not using currently. We're still doing it the old way. We got our devices. So we got our status page set up. The default one is turned off. And we'll look at it. Alright, so it is turned on. We got 60 seconds. Before it fails and give you a message, a little help me please. And we got login enabled. Show this page for out of box. We do want to block until apps are installed. Allow users to reset device if installed. Installation occurs. We do not want users to use the device. So if we got a antivirus or anything that we want on there, we don't want them in there. So before, I think in the old video I had this selected to all. So all apps would install through the process. But trying to get over a hurdle or a problem to where, say we got 20 apps deployed, a required install for our devices. That could take a long time, and we probably don't want that. So we can kind of scope it in here in a way to where our main apps that we want to have before users can access the OS. And I think that's kind of why they moved to that Autopilot V2, but there's a lot of ways around it. So it's good that you got all these options. And then down here, which we'll look at on one of these films, only fail selected blocking apps in technical phase. Technical phase is pre-provisioning, white glove, whatever you want to call it. So right now it's set to yes. So it would fail these apps and it would install everything that is a required device scoped app. If I hit no, it should only install the 3 apps I have scoped. And that is to prep a device before you give it to a user using Autopilot. So if something's going to sit on the shelf, or if you got large apps or a ton of apps that need to be installed before you give it to a user versus the users having to hang themselves watching that, hey, this is something to look at. Alright, so I'm kind of playing around with some of this new stuff just to pre-plan for issues, but that's what we have set. That was our status page, and we can probably end up having a couple of these. We got our deployment profile. Nothing special. User-driven, intra-join. Again, I'm an administrator on here, so that setting I showed you earlier, I guess I could set it to standard. It's not going to hurt. Allow pre-provisioning. So that piece I just mentioned, the white glove, the technical phase, we want to enable it and use it. Alright, set to English. We don't want a template name, we're just going to name it within the namespace above the group tag. We'll update that. All right, other than that, there's not too much to enable Autopilot, and I think I showed it in the other video. Make sure you got the right licenses. Make sure that the automatic enrollment is set to some type of scope or to all. Make sure there's no restrictions. Got a deployment profile, status page. and we should be good to go. All right. So I've already, oops, keeps suspending my machines. So I already got a machine that's autopiloted. It's managed by Intune, just to verify things work. Here we go. Yep, so we got our apps that we had pushed out. Reader, user app set to available. Got some updates. We haven't done updates yet. And we looked at the company portal in another video. All installed. And this was not that long ago. Alright, cool. Alright. I was saying alright a lot. Something's wrong with me. What are we looking at? Autopilot. But I need to show you. We don't have any scripts yet. We will. Nothing set for update. No update rings. I do have a couple of configuration profiles. I have one to skip the user status page through the autopilot process to quicken it up. I have some settings for Windows. I think all I got in there is to disable the widget. We'll add to that. Edition upgrade to Enterprise. Got that in there, messing around with that. But we'll do all kinds of cool things. We'll do stuff with account protection. I don't think I can do disencryption. Maybe. Security baselines we'll definitely do. But anyhow, again, looking at autopilot. And the key thing that we'll be looking at is speeding up the autopilot process, which we kind of already looked at in the enrollment status page, which you could probably need to move to version 2. But not using version 2 because you have hybrid devices. So if you got hybrid joined devices, you cannot use Autopilot version 2. This covers down on both, so you're welcome. All right, so as I mentioned, you got a ton of apps assigned to all devices. You can kind of hack at it by blocking. So only put what you need on there before you give it to the user. Or what we can do is, since we got 2 devices up, I think, or that one's almost done, we'll look at pre-provisioning, white glove. All right, this only fails selected blocking apps. So it will fail on these required apps, but it will install all required apps. If I set it to no, it would only install the required apps right here. The wording is very strange, so I had to read it several times before I fully understood it and test it out. So yeah. And I showed you in the deployment profile that you need to have pre-provisioning enabled. Yes. Alright, so we'll mess around with this device since it's already on there. So we want to pre-provision it. It's only going to apply device settings and policies. And then you can give it to the user, you can put it on the shelf, but it should have all the apps and policies sitting there ready for the device to be handed out. So I kind of gave you several scenarios of, if you got big apps that take a long time, the users don't want to wait. There's a lot of ways to hack at making this faster. We could just get rid of the enrollment status page, but again, there's some security things related Like again, you want to have AV on here and stuff like that before you hand off this company-owned device. It's a lot of reasons. You just got to kind of think about that. But we'll look at pre-provisioning. Was it Windows key is 5 times? I think I'll post that article. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I need to click in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right, so what would you like to do? We can install a provisioning package, which that tool is hot garbage, but it is a tool to where you can create a provisioning package with, was it Configuration Designer? Something they could do better. Or we could pre-provision with Autopilot, which we want to look at, or reset the device. All right, so let's click on pre-provision. This is not going to work. And the lab kit, even though I'm not following it anymore, and on the website and other blogs and videos out there, you need a real device with the TPM chip to be able to do this. But just kind of, again, high level. Pre-provision, organization, the deployment profile. So if you put something terrible in there because you think it's funny, somebody's going to see it. But no user assigned. All right, hit next. Yep, we knew it was going to fail. It's probably going to... I think it's because I maybe have did this before, but it would tell you something about TPM. But anyhow, apps would get installed. All apps get installed, so I think I had 5. Policies and all that will get applied as well during device setup. And then again, you can give it to the user or set up on the shelf. But you do want the user to sign in. All right, so if we go back to Intune 3, it's ready to go. We're just going to go through the process, and we should only get 3 apps. EUC Learn Along at euclearnalong.onmicrosoft.com. Alright, so I need to look at... Oh, and I do have myself set up as a enrollment manager, which I don't need to be because I only have licenses for 25 or something. Alright, so we're kind of, again, rehashing the autopilot, but we're going to build on it. Gotta get my pathways. And I got glasses so I can see. So this should be pretty quick to get to the loading page. We're going to set up a lot of this stuff. There we go. Look how speedy that was. Alright, so again, a lot of this was covered in the other video. But we'll kind of look at it again anyway. And we'll build off this video to do all the other things that we want to do. I'm going to build a whole environment around this process. Yep. What's next after this? All right, so we looked at pre-provisioning, how we could do that, even though I couldn't fully show it. But with pre-provisioning, if you hand it to the user, or I skipped a step, so after pre-provisioning, you get a reseal option. So you would seal back up the machine and get it ready to hand to the user. So when you hand it to them, they get the same splash screen that we just got with the sign-in, but it only applies to user piece versus this whole piece that we're looking at now. Hopefully that makes sense. And that would speed up the process of Autopilot. Or again, you could just get rid of the status page and just have them sign in. But again, trying to be professionals. Have AV agents and stuff. Anything I can do while we wait? Kind of covered everything. Recap the licenses. Make sure you got those and the right ones. Automatic enrollment. Device policy. Enrollment status page. Got some apps. Wish I could have showed the graph thing. But it's okay. I'll post the link in there. But basically, instead of we can do the install script for get Windows Autopilot info, gotta have the execution policy to bypass or unrestricted. Instead of doing a output to a CSV, it would just be get Windows Autopilot info dash online, and then you're just following the prompts, signing in and just waiting for it to import. I guess while we're waiting, let's create a security baseline. Security baseline. Windows 24H2. I really don't want to look through these, but we will. I want to block spotlight. So these cover down on a lot of security policies. Leave the firewall on. App Store. All right. Do all devices. Look at that. We got a bonus. I guess I don't need to rename it. All right, so we got a baseline for 24H2. This won't get applied here. It get applied post login, but no big deal. I just want to see the apps, and then we'll call it a day. Playing with my glasses like I'm smart. All right, so we got Company Portal, 365, Edge, Stable Channel. But we have 5 apps that are applied to all devices. So once we see 3, we'll see that we can cut this cheese several different ways to speed up the process. Again, pre-provisioning or required apps. Required apps requires a little bit more management because you have to have the app assigned for one, and then you have to come here and manage it. So if you got different versions out there, which these wouldn't be an issue, but if you got Notepad or you know Firefox or something like that, you got to come in here and play that game of updating it as well. Come on, just show me 3. Oh, I guess we could look at what's it called? There's a lot we can look at. Whoa, 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 whoa now. Trying to put some stuff to sleep. Was it under tenant administration? Ooh, I can do remote help. We can do auto patch. Ooh, we can do partners portal. Favorite that one. Can we do it? I don't think so. I'd have to get a Dell or HP. Again, just burning time. Guess while we're waiting, we can set up an update ring. We'll be done setting up Intune and Autopilot. Update ring. Next. Allow product updates. That is for Windows drivers, quality. Well, I guess we can test that out. Not configured. Pause. We don't want to pause updates. Let's notify them. That should be good. probably end up testing that out. Come on, speed up. I'm doing. Driver updates. Automatic. Make updates. Can I put 0? Look at that. We got an update ring. We got driver updates. Oh my goodness. I just wanted it to get to apps so we could see 3. Oh yeah, we can import some ADMX files. Well, I don't even know if it's worth adding another 10 minutes to this video to prove the point. But anyhow, we'll go into detail in other videos on adding to it. I know I kind of just did some stuff to fill in the gap I was trying to get to the apps part on here, but we'll kind of go through the update ring that I just created and the driver update and a few other things. But again, the main thing was pre-provisioning and then looking at blocking apps and so forth. But anyhow, hope you learned something.